Hello, and welcome to our review of Face the Raven. This is the latest episode of Doctor Who. Slightly delayed review for us, owing to technical issues and work scheduling. But we're here with it, and I think we're starting off with my thoughts this week. We'll
Yeah.
start off with, yep, we did. I don't know what to say about it really, because I was crying at the end. Because I'm an emotional idiot.
Pussy.
Goes out saying. I liked the episode generally. Uh, I don't have any problems with it particularly. I mean, some parts of it are a little bit unanswered, but they will be answered because this episode is sort of serving as a three-part finale. Obviously, going on because it literally had a to be continued, which I was not expecting. Which obviously connects on to next week's, which is Heaven Sent, and then it's Hell Bent. I think that's the right way around. I liked it. Obviously, the big thing everyone's talking about for us. If you don't know it by now, again, I'll say spoilers now. Again, if you're listening to a review of an episode, though, it would suggest that you have already seen the episode. But we don't do spoilers-free reviews here. We like to spoil. Obviously, the big thing for it was the death of Clara, and
Thank God.
she ain't coming back. Although there
Good.
are some people who think she'll appear at a different.
Flashbacks, visions.
No, no, no. Some people think that she will actually appear in the finale episode itself because there's the front cover for the Doctor Who magazine is she's in a scene and an outfit that we've not seen her in, that we haven't seen anything this series, which would suggest in some shape or form she's going to appear in some way in the finale. But I'm willing to bet it's like, I don't know, a mental projection or something like that. Or they'll be in heaven or something like that. So it's not Clara in the sense of she's coming back. It's the idea of
We do have in last series.
we did, but
Sensing a theme.
who was it that had Heaven last series? It was Missy, and we
Yes.
know Missy will probably be returning again because we know she's probably not dead. Daleks never
Say
kill.
Missy come back. Let's say the Joker will come back.
Different, yes. It's
No
very much.
shit, Sherlock.
We know she's that, but the thing is, she might be back for the season finale, which we don't know yet. It's not confirmed. But I like this series. I like this episode. I think it was very well written. Moffat didn't have any hand in writing as well, which surprised me.
That's why it was well written. Obvious joke. Go.
Which therefore surprised me with it being the death of Clara that wasn't being written by the producer. It's also one of the rarities for New Who, at least, to kill off a character in a way that is a definitive death as well. We actually see them die on screen. The only other characters we've ever had die were Amy and Rory. And they're killed by the
Well,
Weeping Angel.
Rory several times.
Yes, but Rory dies and comes back again. As I think they make reference to it in one of the... Rory says it in his last episode. It's, I'll die and I'll come back to it. He says, do you think you'll come back? He literally says, when don't I? So it was kind of... It's nice that Rory got a bit meta towards the end. But Rory and Amy, again, it's Stephen Moffat companions. They got killed off. But they got killed by the Weeping Angels, and they don't kill you in the traditional sense. They send you back in time and let you live to death, which is a very humane way of killing. But no, Clara's death was quite dark by comparison. I was trying to think the other day whilst I was talking with Mum. We'll get onto Mum's thoughts in a bit. How many companions have been killed?
Oh, wait, no, without looking it up.
Not a huge number. The big ones I can think of are Adric.
Yeah, but no one liked Adrix, that's fine.
That was one of the big moments for a companion being killed, I think.
Oh.
Because most of the others, they leave or they're abandoned. Most of them leave for their own choice. There's very few that get left behind. I can't think of that many have been killed,
No.
in fairness. I think most have just left of their own accord. It's a rarity for them to get killed, which already hits it quite hard. Return of Maisie Williams, of course, but we knew that was going to happen because her voiceover was in the trailer, and we'd had it confirmed that she was going to be back. Return of Rigsy or Rigby, I don't remember which one it is now.
Rigsy, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Rigsy. Which was nice. I quite like him as a character generally, and it's shown he's grown up since last year as well. Because obviously last year he was the juvenile delinquent, and now he's a dad.
Oh, he's an adult delinquent.
Who was framed for murder. It's all part of a devious plot that we don't quite understand what that's going to be going with yet. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Is Stephen Moffat writing the finale? I assume he is.
Usually, yeah.
So we won't understand it even by the end. And,
We might. We'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Moffat might learnt.
So, yeah.
I'm using the word might there in very
Um,
big. Might in my head there is about 3 sizes the font larger and it's in bold.
With 3 exclamation marks.
And italics.
And in Comic Sans, just to really piss everyone off.
But we might. I like this episode, really. I don't have any problems with it. Because it's such a... The whole big crux of it was Clara's death. And she did get her comeuppance in a way that actually fit the character. It's the idea of she's trying to out-doctor the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She was killed by her own hubris. The idea being she thought she could find a way around things by being more like the Doctor, but ultimately couldn't. Which was also quite sad in that way. Because we even had the comment of she enjoyed that way too much, and Doctor, I know, it's part of an ongoing problem. Which kind of solved itself through her own actions. So what were your thoughts?
Best episode ever.
Are you saying that just because it was the death of Clara?
Yep.
Oh, come on. All right, try and have a bit more of a circumspect on it other than that.
Well, she really's got on my wick this
I know
entire series, except that one episode when she was evil, with more of that. And,
other than that, all right, not ignoring the death of Clara, putting the fact that it was her death to one side, what do you think of the episode?
Alright, episode? Why were we in Diagon Alley?
Yeah, lots of people have said it was
I liked it. It was alright. I like murder mysteries.
It was quite nice, actually.
I like this. It was good.
Going against the ticking clock, literally.
Yes, literally the tattoos. Awesome, moving tattoos. That needs to be invented.
That's clever. That's a clever use.
That needs to be invented.
I
like ravens. There was a raven in it.
Nice. It had a kind of nice noir sort of...
Noir in a monologue.
Not film noir, but that whole kind of grim fairy tale aspect to it.
But still PG-13.
Yeah, but when I say grim, I mean like Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
In literally the idea of it's a secret alleyway filled with monsters who hide away from the rest of the world. We've got a raven there. It's the idea of being that you're marked. It was very fairy tale-esque, actually, in a lot of ways.
I liked it. It wasn't... I liked... I've forgotten his name. Maisie Williams' little sidekick. The guy with... I've forgotten his name. I liked him.
Which one? She had
the one that... I forgot. I watched it 2 days ago. I can't remember.
You had Mr. Rump.
Yeah, I think it was him. I liked him. I don't know why. I just liked him.
I did.
I liked him. I like this guy. But yeah, I liked it. It was a decent episode. We hadn't had in a while.
Maisie Williams actually returning again. It's strange how her characters
actually emoting this time.
Yeah, I actually preferred her in this.
Phenomenal. I actually went, oh my god, an emotion.
I liked her character more because it's developed even more. It's the idea being. It wasn't exactly villainous, but it was the kind of there's that light touch on it a little bit. But equally at the end, you could see the idea that she didn't want to do it. She was doing it because she was kind of forced to. But she didn't. It wasn't the idea of I'm doing this because I have to. If given the choice, I wouldn't, but I have to, so I accept it though. She wasn't guilt-ridden. She accepted what she had to do, but knew it wasn't the right thing. So which is an interesting sort of situation to find yourself in. And we got to see, at least for a very brief moment, Angry Doctor.
Yes.
Which is a night. I've seen Peter Capaldi in a few things when he's kind of lost his temper.
The thick of it.
Actually,
sorry, but I just want him to start bursting this and buying everyone.
No, it wasn't the thick of it. It
hilarious.
was a 2-part. The Hour. That was it. I'll send you a clip of it. There's a clip from it because he was in the second season of The Hour, which is the only season I saw, which is a brilliant TV series, and I'm really annoyed the BBC didn't renew it for a third one. Because it really left on a real cliffhanger.
It was one of those kind of series.
Yeah, it's an open ending because they knew they might not get a third series. It's what BBC TV series generally now, if they know there's not a guarantee there's going to get confirmation, they will usually have a somewhat open ending. To suggest it could go this way, it could go the other. If we get the third series, we can tell you what way it went, but otherwise we leave it up to the audience to decide. We leave it open to their interpretation, which annoyed me because it had some really good actors in it, including Ben Whishaw, who I'm a very big fan of. and Peter Capaldi, who was in the second season, who was a brilliant character, and I loved him in it. But we got to see the quiet rage of the Doctor again.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare for us to have, and therefore I'm quite looking forward to how the finales, this two-part finale, plays out for him. Because we know the Doctor can be very scary when he gets angry. Because all of them, we've seen virtually every incarnation of the Doctor get angry at some
Tom
point.
Baker's a scary period.
Yeah.
It's the kind of guy you don't want to be alone in the room with for a long period of time. You're just not sure what he'll do.
But he's not been. But this is that time when he's been angry and threatening, in that sense of, you've done something to upset him. And his own words, the universe is a very...
You're off the Christmas card list.
And I like Peter Capaldi when he plays dark characters like that, because we've been saying for ages he's going to be a dark Doctor, and we haven't seen too much of it. We've seen bits of it when he's got a slightly darker edge on morality of what he was willing to do. But this time we've got him angry. And I'm interested to see where they go with that, because it's threatening. At the same time, it's that thing of you don't... It's like with parents. You know when you're a kid, they're wonderful and you love them to bits, but when you get them angry, it's the most terrifying thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And you never want to have it to happen. It's very much like that. And therefore, from an audience perspective, it's very interesting to see. I did find her end quite moving. I know you're not a big fan of Clara. I quite like Clara. I didn't have any major problems with her. Right, towards the end, she was becoming a bit of a Mary Sue, but I think that was kind of I think that's kind of the awareness of the idea of she's someone who's trying to be she even said, why can't I be like you? She wants to be like the Doctor. And I think a part of it was that because she'd lost Danny Pink.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he even existed. Well, that's much mark he left on me.
I think a part of it all stems from that. Because the whole thing, her recklessness has only come out really in the last series.
Which is probably why I can't stand this series.
The series, she has been a lot more reckless. And I agree, it's been a bit grating, because part of me is going, she's been too reckless. The whole thing has been too much like the Doctor. And even the Doctor's realised, I know we've been saying it throughout the entire season, the Doctor's recognised there is a problem with this and it's something that needs to be solved. But obviously, losing her is sad. I think I always find it sad losing her. I mean, you and I were actually watching the episode when Amy and Rory went. We were actually in the same room there. You actually saw my reaction. And that upset me. Losing anyone's.
I was upset to lose Karen Gillan, but that's for very different reasons.
That's very different reasons.
I'll be in my bunk.
Arthur Darvill was also very fun.
He was weirdly fetching, especially in that Roman gear.
I liked them, but it's always sad when they lose them. And I think Clara had come on. I don't know. Clara was one. Her character never changed. Particularly, a lot of the time, when people travel with the Doctor, they become better people for it. Which is usually you end up when they leave. Those that leave the Doctor are usually better people for it. Because they realise their value, their worth, they actually mean something, because they've also seen so much. They've seen enough that it changes their perspective on how they view themselves and the world. People like... Essentially, my best example would be Donna.
Ah, Donna.
Because you look at Donna at the start, before she's a companion, and then at the end, before the memory wipe, and she's a completely different person. And they all say, and Wilf even said, but she was better with you. The trouble is, obviously, she goes back to it because they have to in order to save her. But they all become better people for it. Clara didn't change particularly if you look through her transition of being the Doctor, being with the Doctor. At least nothing notable that I can think of. She was always a remarkable person. The whole point of it was she was the impossible girl. But otherwise, her personality didn't change. Her attitude toward things never really changed. A lot of the time, she was more the anchor for the Doctor more than anything else. And she was fun, but the character didn't develop particularly, I don't think. I might need a bit of time to think that one over, but I think Amy changed. Because we had the whole thing with her and Rory. Rory definitely changed. Rory, at the start of the series, was just a complete wimp.
He grew a pair of balls.
More than that, he became the last...
Several pair of balls. He
became an amazing hero by the end of it. He was just brilliant. And Amy did change, and I think she became a better person. It was less of a shift than it was compared with the likes of Rory and the likes of, if we go back to the Russell T Davies era companions, they all changed quite dramatically from start to finish. I don't think Clara did particularly, but she still left a very strong impact on things. If anything, Clara did change. She became more like the Doctor, which was not a positive change generally, because it's things like it's the whole thing of never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
And we can watch these people on the television, like we can admire the Doctor, we can admire the likes of Sherlock Holmes, Batman, all these wonderful figures that from an outside perspective we can look in on and go, they're amazing, I'd love to meet them. The thing is, if you ever did actually meet them, you'd probably hate them. Because we see them in a perspective that's very different. Which is that skill of the right of viewing a person through the means of fiction, through a book, through a comic, through film, through television, through radio, through anything. We see them in a different light. Because they're all fundamentally, I mean, the Doctor and Sherlock Holmes are very similar. I think in a lot of ways the Doctor's modelled on a lot of Sherlock Holmes stuff and the idea of this blind arrogance.
Doesn't do quite as much opium, though.
No, not if we're going by classic Holmes. But fundamentally, if we met them, we'd probably either love them completely or hate them. Holmes, I think, generally is a very difficult character to like because you're not supposed to like him as a person. He rates people up the wrong way. The Doctor depends on which Doctor you're talking about, of course, because they've all got different personalities. No, but I think Clara became a bit more like that. She became a lot more reckless. There was an arrogance to her as well, of course, with the end bit, the whole thing, and she knows how to solve the problem without really thinking it through. So she's acting like the Doctor, but the thing is, the Doctor knows how to do stuff because he's always thinking so many steps ahead. Clara was thinking a few steps ahead, but she never really considered the big picture, or with enough knowledge of the context of what she was dealing with to know how it would work. Which is when arrogance in that sense works, because you can see the whole playing field. You know how this could all play out. You know what all the possibilities are, so you can play the variants. You can play the game. Clara was sort of... The Doctor plays three-dimensional chess. Clara was playing standard chess. Wasn't aware of the other planes. Does that make sense?
Yes. What to me? To anyone else, I don't know.
Yeah, well... to be fair, this is a conversation between you and I more than anything, and the others are just listening. Shall I do Mum's thoughts?
Oh yeah, what did your mum think? We forgot about
She liked it. She had cried a bit at the end.
All three of us have agreed. That's probably our other one.
No. There has been one episode we disagreed.
No, all three of us actually agree.
Oh yeah, all three. My mum really liked this episode. She thinks it's one of the best of the series, actually. She really enjoyed it. She thought it was a very good ending for it. Very intrigued to see where it goes on from it. It's generally... to be fair, though, it is rare for my mum to disagree with us on these things. I think the only time we did have a disagreement was Sleep No More, when my mum hated it and got very bored.
Oh, yeah.
And nearly... And did walk out for a part, I think. She very nearly turned it off, if memory serves.
I remember you saying something.
Yeah, she really didn't like Sleep No More. But she liked last week. She liked this week's. Last week's, this week's. The dating on this review is a bit weird for me. I'm not doing it straight after.
It's on the internet, it's there forever.
It's on my laptop at the moment.
Actually, it's on my hard drive at the moment.
Thanks to BBC Player, thanks to BBC iPlayer downloads.
Man, we were getting paid for that.
I hope so as well.
BBC can't afford to pay out advertising.
No, but I liked the episode. I didn't have any major problems with it. I'm interested to see if they go back to it again, the whole concept for the
Diagon Alley.
Fat planes.
I'm just calling it Diagon Alley because it is. I swear it's even the same set.
No, it's not. The
No,
set
it's
is
not,
actually,
but-
it's a street in Cardiff.
Yeah, well, yeah, but...
No, it actually is a street
Is
in
it?
Cardiff, yes. Of course it is. We know they film all this stuff in Cardiff.
It's cheaper in Cardiff.
Because when you look at all the buildings, it's not set. Those are actual buildings. There are actual houses in there. So it is actually a street in Cardiff. I've seen an article on it. So thoughts on this week are that we liked it. You particularly because it was the death of Clara.
I'm looking forward to. What this episode did was really make me excited for next week's episode.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, episode's fine, but what, next week?
Yeah, it's the whole thing of we knew Clara was leaving this week because it was confirmed a few days beforehand.
Mm.
Which ever really annoyed me that I was going to miss it. So I would have to spend a lot of time off social media for spoilers.
Mm.
Fortunately, work meant that I wouldn't be looking at social media. So
on Facebook, every spoiler there was. To be fair, the big spoiler you already knew of the episode.
yeah, the big spoiler of
she dies.
We didn't know she was going to die. We knew she was going to leave.
Yeah,
because the question is that you and I, we suggested, oh, she's going to die because she's not going to come back, which would suggest death. Part of me was going through, as I was watching the episode, I was thinking, is she going to get put in the stasis pod? Because that will freeze time for her. So therefore, she will be in a state of both death and non-death, meaning that she can never be saved again, because that would mean she would die. But she can. But it's one way to save it. It's that strange situation of I thought that was going to be one way they'd get around it, but they actually killed her. Which isn't so much a surprise, but I thought they were going to find some way to not exactly get around it, but find a way to make it that she was both dead.
Mother wants to. He'll write a bullshit reason to bring her back later if he wants to.
Well, he's the one who said she won't be back.
Oh, is he? Good.
Yeah. Which I suppose is very much the way of closing the page on that chapter. Yeah, but next week's interesting because it's just Peter Capaldi. It's just the Doctor.
Which makes me think we still won't find out who asked for him.
We might towards the end of it by voiceover or something. But obviously then we've got the following one, which I've seen I've read a review for Face the Raven.
Yeah.
And towards the end of it, the reviewer has said that they've seen the rough cut of Hellbent and Heaven Sent, which are the finales, and they've said I think the actual finale is the words they use for it is ... out of this world. And I don't think that was literally suggesting it's on another planet.
Really, I never guessed. Another planet? Do you mean a quarry in Wales?
But lots of people are also saying that they've released some pictures which I have not looked at. For stuff to do with Hellbent and Heaven Sent, and people are saying, and lots of people are going, that's the same set, and the BBC has confirmed. Do you recognise these things?
I swear I recognise that stasis pod from somewhere. Either I've watched way too much cheap science fiction, and I'm thinking, I know that. I swear I know that.
I think they've used something like that in
I swear I've seen that before somewhere. Like, is that intentional or is it just budget cuts? Because you can never tell with BBC.
I remember seeing a meme somewhere going, "Welcome to the BBC. We have 7 actors, 3 sets, and 3 costumes, and 2 sets."
Yeah, so you eat a lot of that shit.
Because I think it was people that were saying that the shirt that Peter Capaldi wore in Robots of Sherwood was the same shirt.
You just reminded me that episode existed.
It was the same shirt that Benedict Cumberbatch was wearing as Sherlock in one of the episodes.
Oh yeah, there's going to be. They're rapidly losing their budget.
No, I'm interested. So obviously there is going to be a link into something. I reckon it is probably going to tie into Missy somewhere.
Probably.
If I had to have a guess. Mostly part of me was thinking it's a teleportation bracelet. Who do we know that has a teleportation bracelet at the moment? It's Missy. But equally, it could be anyone.
It really could be anyone.
At the moment, there's no hints for this as to who it could possibly be.
It's Clara. Oh my god.
That'd be a twist.
Yeah, but it could be a bullshit twist.
Just
because you don't see it coming does not make it a good twist.
No. It makes it a twist, though. You can't.
It's not a twist, but it's not a good one.
Because to be fair, as is ever the case, that list of the Doctor's enemies is incredibly long.
Yes.
There's a very short list of people that wouldn't want to try and get revenge. I think the Doctor's probably got an equally long list of allies, though, as well. But we were mentioning it earlier about, before we started recording, somehow we got into the idea of recurring villains and classic monsters coming back. I think it was in an interview or something this week, Stephen Moffat said that he'd like to bring the Sea Devils back. I quite like the design for the Sea Devils, because they always appeared with Silurians, if my memory serves me correctly. Not always, but they did towards the end. Because the Silurians before New Who were in 3 episodes, and one of them they did share it with the Sea Devils. And I quite like the Sea Devils as a concept because their first one was John Pertwee, if memory serves. It was colour actually as well. It was one of the first colour episodes of John Pertwee. Was the Sea Devils. So I'd quite like to bring them back because the thing with classic Who monsters are there are very few villains in Doctor Who are singular characters. The only 2 I can think of, and you might name more, are the Master and Davros.
And the Rani.
And the Rani. Yeah, right. I'm thinking of ones that come back.
Davros I put with the Daleks anyway.
Yeah, but the point is there is only one Davros.
Yeah.
Daleks come back because they're the race. Because all other ones that return from Doctor Who, that are classic monsters that have since returned in New Who, they're an entire species or an entire race. Which means them coming back's not a big kind of, ooh, I thought they were all gone.
Yeah.
Daleks, yeah, that fits with it because it's the whole Time War thing. Because Daleks always come back.
You have to have Daleks in Doctor Who. At least
yeah, you can't have Doctor Who without the Daleks. It'd be weird.
There'd be riots.
Yes, there would be. We might even
Daleks
be
in Doctor Who. I've killed the Daleks off. What?
It's like we said, it's the whole thing. Doctor Who, they'd never kill off characters like that because they couldn't even kill off the Master. The Master could never be permanently killed off.
No.
As we've seen with the return of Missy, Davros could never be killed off. Russell T Davies said in the episode.
Frequently, he lost more body parts than.
Oh yeah, by now we know he is
yeah,
mostly augmented technology more than anything else.
He was a head on a dish at one point.
At one point he was. I think that was Revelation of the Daleks.
Yeah, one of them. Like really.
No, it was an earlier one than that. Because Revelation of the Daleks, he was posing as the Dalek Emperor. That was a good episode. Yeah. But those are characters that Rani we haven't had return.
Yeah,
there were lots of people speculating on the return of the Rani.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
At some point. She might return at some point. It'd be quite nice to see, actually, the return.
Bring the Time Lords back.
I think they're angling to... Part of me thinks the villains might be the Time Lords, actually.
Rassilon. Yeah, more Timothy Dalton spitting everywhere.
And that'll be him playing.
Oh, I like him as Rassilon.
Can you imagine the budget for it, though?
Oh, man. Rassilon.
I liked it. I liked his Rassilon. It was very good.
Spitting. Once, I think he spat. It became a thing.
But part of me thinks all the Time Lords might be behind it all, actually. I don't know.
They might be.
That'd be one, because we know the Time Lords are actually quite often a bit more on the darker side of things, in terms of their position of interference. Trial of a Time Lord, they actually did try the Doctor for it was genocide, wasn't it? He was on trial because he'd wiped out an entire alien species.
Probably. It was Colin Baker.
Not saying anything.
He had a habit for being a bit of a... Which I like if they actually did anything with it. But at that point, BBC just... Well, not the entire BBC didn't like Doctor Who.
Michael Gray.
Certain people, we won't mention names.
No, we will mention names. It's Michael
Here we go, off in his crusade again.
I can't hate the man, though. God damn it.
God damn him.
I do and I don't. I don't like him because of what he did for Doctor Who. I can't hate him, though, because he was Morecambe and Wides' manager at one point.
Even though 2 Ronnies are funnier.
I like both equally. Don't make me pick. I would probably pick Morecambe and Wise, right?
Jason Jones, Monty Python.
Monty Python's a totally unique sense of comedy.
Yeah, there is no one like.
Compare to anyone. And even then, you can't really compare Morecambe and Wise to 2 Ronnies. Because 2 Ronnies were sketches. Morecambe and Wise was literally music hall. It was musical comedy for the television. So even then, they're great double acts, but they're completely different in terms of what they do. Morecambe and Wise didn't really do sketches in the same way.
We get off topic.
Yeah, but people expect that of us.
British TV. What else can we
British comedy in the 1970s and 80s.
Anyway, let's get back loosely to at least science fiction.
To go back to Doctor Who. Next week's looks very interesting. I'm interested to see where this goes with the finale. I don't know where this is going. I have no idea where it's going.
It'll either be brilliant or really annoy you, depending on what they do with it.
I'm really hoping for the former.
Yeah, it's something really good. Like, oh my god, nice.
Generally, this series has been so far, for the most part, on the whole, it's been a lot stronger than last year's.
Oh yeah, last year's.
Last year's was mostly a couple hits, mostly misses.
Yeah, and this year, Pink because he's dead.
And this year, it is very much the other way around. We've had a lot of good episodes this year, actually. And
A couple of hiccups.
The only ones we didn't like were Maisie Williams' first two, really, and it was the second one that we found most that we did dislike more than the other. But generally, we've liked most of this series. There have been faults, yes, of course, but every series has had faults. I can't really go through many of them. All series of Doctor Who have got their faults to them. There's no
mostly the budget, the old ones. That set is wobbling. And that Dalek is made out of tinfoil.
There was a Cybermen that were made of tinfoil.
They were literally made out of tinfoil. Well, I know Daleks, they broke down, they just went to B&Q and bought something from there to fix it.
Yeah.
Probably with gaffer tape.
Oh, it has to be gaffer tape, of course.
It's one of those budgets.
Those are the days.
Things were done properly with heart. Damn you, CG, ruined everything. Damn it, George Lucas.
But again, that's something I quite liked for all the monsters that we saw at Doctor Who this week. It wasn't all CG stuff. It was all
there was a lot.
Makeup in there. Raven was the only one that was, but there's no way you could do a sort of smoke-based
defeatist attitude. That's not how we won the war. With that kind of defeatist attitude, they'll find a way.
That's not how we won the war.
I don't know how we won the war.
We won the war through CGI, goddammit.
Yeah, CGI. I played Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein's how we lost the war. Damn
it. No, but I'm very interested to see where they go with the finales for this. And next week is obviously making history because it's the first time that we've had an episode with just the Doctor.
Yes.
No one else is in it that we know of. As far as I'm aware, it is just the Doctor in the credits at the moment.
It'll be a hell of a...
And I've seen a picture of the read-through.
Yeah, it's just Peter Capaldi and no one else, unlike the director and writers.
The thing is, you've got technical crew there that have to be there as well for the read-throughs. But the thing is, usually you've got this long line because it's the same room. It's always very long tables.
On the Wikipedia, this is Wikipedia.
Yeah.
On the cast, it's got Peter Capaldi, and under others, someone called the Veil.
That will be who's it playing the Veil?
Jamie Reed Quarrel. Don't know if it's a man or a woman, because Jamie can be either.
Pardon me, my phone's going off a minute.
That's Mum. Oh, it's Jamie Reed Quarrel, the guy who played Colony Stark from the Open Two-Parter.
He played what?
Colony.
All right.
Same person, playing a different character, but the same actor. But it's a man playing someone called the Veil. That's literally the entire cast.
I'm assuming, as a character of the Veil, he's... Oh, we saw that. There was a figure who was kind of following the Doctor around, didn't we? Yeah. I'm assuming, therefore, he's not playing a part in the sense of...
Have any lines.
Yeah, it's the idea of he's... It's like the people that play the Cybermen, that kind of thing. They're the actor inside the suit. Which is a very difficult job, actually.
Oh, it's hard. That's
good for it. So that'll be interesting for what they do there. So next...
Hell's Ben, you got Peter Capaldi.
Got anything released for that?
I'm just looking at the cast. Again, this is Wikipedia.
Yeah, of course.
Clara's on Hellbent on the cast.
I told you she'd be back in some way.
No one else I recognise as a returning character. There's someone called the Plump Man. Someone's just called the Woman.
We get character.
The President, the General, female General. I thought I'd say Gaston's Gastron. I assume it's Cook. And not Gaston. I can't make the joke. And
that'll be interesting then.
A lot of just the President, the General, female General, the Woman, Plump Man.
Oh, it's weird for characters like that not to have a name.
Don't go on Wikipedia and read the description for Hellbent.
Don't.
I don't know if it's true, but just don't. And if you don't want to be possibly spoiled for what happens, which I now know, and I'm very annoyed, but it might be. I'm not going to say what it is. Just don't. And it might be wrong if it's Wikipedia.
No, Wikipedia. If there's Wikipedia, I know we always criticize Wikipedia, but it is usually still fairly accurate.
Don't read the final episodes. If you don't want to be spoiled, do not. I just read it.
I feel bad that you've just been spoiled now, though.
Well, yeah, we'll see how it's done, and then see if I like it or not. But anyway, that's your warning.
All right, I won't do it because I've been trying to avoid spoilers this whole series and done a pretty good job for the most part, actually. So yeah, I think that concludes our thoughts for Face the Raven. So you can join us next week for... It's Hellbent next week, isn't it?
Yes. Heaven sent
yes. Yep, so join us next week for Hellbent, which will be going out at our usual time straight after the episode.
Saturday morning time I actually upload it.
Probably, but
we'll... so late, and I'm going to bed. I'm not waiting for YouTube.
It'll be fresher than it is at the moment. Than this one has gone out.
It's not going to Wednesday because I'm not doing it now.
Yeah. So join us then.